BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at these charts. So last night I was doing a Patreon, and what we were thinking about, what we were looking at, is the possibility of a larger pullback in the market in the form of maybe like a dump. Some people might call it a crash, some people might call it a dump, or some people might call it a pullback, or whatever. Lower prices, whatever you want to call it. I'm not gonna try to box it into a particular form of language, because I know that some people get very upset when you say anything other than only up. You guys are different. I've noticed that most of the people who watch my videos are subscribers, so there must be value to this channel for the people who find it. But for those who will watch me for the very first time, I'm just trying to explain that I think we're going to see some downside, probably in altcoins more than anything, at some point soon. Doesn't have to happen today, and then from that area it will generate a significant and tasty bounce. Now the weekend is the weekend, and then with that comes usually some bullish moves, especially when the Dixie has closed pretty much, well, it has closed low. It was technically a green closure, but but these sort of bouncy closures like this do suggest that we are actually going to go up a little bit before we go back down again, and that could be going up to any one of these areas to get rejection further. So and it's also very common to see traditional markets, whether it's Forex or especially stocks, for instance, close in the inverse of a trade trend. So we've been going down for the Dixie, and then as Friday basically began to close, we started to see a tick up over the last portion of the day. But still bearish, let's face it, it's still bearish. And the dominance chart is technically falling down still. But we are at a support, being this 50 exponential, which basically favors Bitcoin, whether that's to preserve losses, or should I say minimize losses, and compared to what altcoins might do. If Bitcoin and the market was to pull back, you'd expect a bounce on this. So look, there's no what I'm trying to put across here is that this is not a perfect time to enter a trade, although upside is absolutely still a valid scenario. So the reason I'm saying all this is that obviously we've got this read over here, which is still bearish divergence on the weekly money flow index, no bearish divergence on the weekly RSI. So as far as the weekly RSI is concerned, it still seems okay, but the daily RSI, 1, 2, 3, and this is quite a significant lower high. So even if we pump up to new all-time highs today, which again is absolutely possible, lower 70s, can see that, we'll still generate that drive. Same thing's going on the 4 hourly, 1, 2, 3, and again this is significant lower highs. So even if we did a big pump, we're still likely to be lower high than the prior high there. So just think about that. We've got bearish divergence on the daily and on the 4 hourly. So if we are going to get a bigger pullback, it suggests that it would happen sooner rather than later, because the daily is offers a big move. The 4 hourly is offering a relatively impending move. Then we'll take ourselves to the hourly, where we still have it on the hourly as well, more or less 1, 2, 3, and this one again is a significantly lower high. So even if we pump up, it'd still be bearish divergence. So whether we go up first or we start to go down straight away, the downside move, it looks like it would be a big one. Now, if that does happen, I still think it'll be a buy the dip to sell the rip. But what's your plan? Are you gonna buy the dip? Are you gonna sell here in the hope that it comes down? This is what I was trying to stress to everybody yesterday. All right, so I've made no secret that I've been in 70% cash position through this last stage of this alt rally, this alt season, or should we just call it bull market? And it's been cool. It's definitely been cool, and I still feel as though, and it looks like there is more to come. There's more gains to come. Even at this level right now, you could probably think of, I'll buy here because it does look like, whether it happens immediately or we dump and then come back up to there, that a new local high will be generated. Not just for Bitcoin, but for most altcoins, especially the ones that we were looking at last night. The majority of them looked like they wanted to create higher highs. So that's fine. The continuation is good. But, also, if I'm expecting a larger move in the market, we might be thinking, right, the last wick took us down to 59,000, basically into the 59,000s. I think that could be revisited again. That's where your Bollinger Band Center is, your 21 exponential is. We might be looking for another move of that size. You could even go higher. You could even see a much larger dump that takes us into the lower 50s. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying that, look, these things can happen, and they always happen when people are most bullish. And let's face it, people are very bullish right now. They're very bullish. Really bullish. And the market, as bullish as it is, it's not being traded in the conventional way. And what I mean by that is, let's have a think about the coins, the altcoins which have rallied the most. What has rallied the most? Is it anything useful? I would say no, right? Just go with me on this one. So, there's lots of altcoins out there that I would say do have actual intrinsic value with utility, all that sort of thing. But what are the things that have rallied the most? Outside of the things that have got very low liquidity and have generated very big moves just because of the lack of the size of the order books. It's easier to create green candles on a chart that rarely trades with high volume. So we're talking obviously the meme coins went crazy, didn't they? And the AI coins have gone crazy. So even though the charts permitted that, and again, this is the same thing for all altcoins. Most altcoins are in a bullish trend with a bullish outlook. They look bullish, but some have moved and some haven't moved. And the ones that have moved are the ones that are, well, they're cool, aren't they? They're cool. Meme coins, cool. What do? Nothing. What do AI coins do? Some of them do things. Some of them don't do anything. They're just appropriately named, and they've caught the attention of FOMO Master, Captain Noob Master, FOMO Master. Now, again, I'm not saying that certain things don't have value. Like, I've always been into FET AI. I've always been into Ocean Protocol. I know enough about those, projects to know that they are real and they have value. And yeah, I can give them higher prices because they deserve higher prices. They have utility. Not so much with some of these other things that have moved massively. And again, obviously the meme coins. So there is a type of trade that's taking place at the moment. Now, the charts, like I say, because we did decent trades on SHIB before that moved. We could see that was ready to go, and then it went. But it also went because it is a meme coin, and they seem to be the things that are moving. So there's something outside of these charts, I think, that is moving these markets, and it's more of a FOMO type. Don't want to miss out. Want to latch on to the next coolest thing, and that is meme coins and this whole situation surrounding AI. Now we've got other altcoins out there that do have good charts and they're failing to run. And not just that they've got good charts, but they are actually decent blockchains. They have utility to them. They should have value to them, but for some reason it's only the things that are seen as popular and cool, and people are buying on a fundamental basis. It's if that makes sense. So it's not as healthy a market as it might appear, because it would suggest to me that when it comes to buying into altcoins at the moment, it's being done through emotions opposed to technicals. Now, obviously, there's technical trades going left, right, and centre, and we are able to trade those and make money out of those as well, but they are not the charts that should go in particularly parabolic, all right? So it's an emotionally driven market. So with an emotionally driven market, things go up, but you know what? They come crashing down really hard because people's emotions at the moment are, yeah, I could buy anything, do what I want, I make money, this is amazing, I'm laughing all the way to the bank, man. And then do you know what can happen as well? Oh my god, I'm losing money, I bought the top, sell at losses, I need to get out, more losses, wreck city, carnage. I think it's an emotionally driven market right now. And so with an emotionally driven market, you can expect big moves up and big moves down, which is why I'm speculating that a big move down can come. And if we think about Bitcoin doing a 13%, you should emphasize that for any altcoin, at least 13%. We could even see a Bitcoin come down by 21% from this current price where we are right now. If we move up, we can also see it come down to these lower levels. So we're talking between 13 and 20%, give or take, you know. And so let's just imagine what that might be like for some other altcoins. Well, anyway, we've got an example of what I think is going to happen. We saw this last night, and yeah, we've already had a bit of a dump in the market, and this might be it for now, but we already had a dump in the market. So this is our NDR. Yeah, we were trading this way back when, since then it's been going from strength to strength to strength, and then when it finally hit this resistance of around $8-ish area, we came plummeting down by 26% into a 50 exponential moving average, where it kissed it perfectly and has continued to rally thereafter, and it is currently up 93%. It actually went up 100% from the retest of that particular portion of the moving average. It's actually a golden cross retest on a daily. So that's really good, right? That's really good. And I think what we're looking at now for most altcoins is something similar. So this, I was saying this last night when we found it, I was thinking, right, so we've seen this sort of thing with most altcoins already. I think this is a little view into the future of what I think could happen next. So we don't have to see this dump. It doesn't have to happen. And it doesn't have to happen today. But if it does happen, it will likely cause a move like this again on other altcoin charts. Now the question is, which altcoin chart you're going to trade? Well, you've got to decide that for yourself. The market generally is moving as one, and if you're going to take advantage of a dump, you know, you've got to have your own charts which you are studying and you prefer, rather than trying to copy anybody else's or just buying any altcoin through association with a dump. Does that make sense? But I was looking at this last night. I was thinking, yeah, this is the sort of behavior I'm looking to see in the form of a dump. Now, like I say, I've not made any secret that I'm 70% in cash. Probably is about more 60% in cash now, because the skin in the game has grown so much that that's the proportions it's made. So I still have plenty of cash, is all I'm saying, to deploy into the market. So I'm happy to play both sides of this. If it keeps going up and refuses to go down straight away, that's fine, and I will sell that on the way up. If it goes down, it's not actually a big deal either, because I've got plenty of available cash that I can buy this dip for what I expect it to look like this RNDR chart, which is I suppose a portion of a golden cross retest or a significant moving average, and then a bounce and a recovery and a continuation. That's what I'm looking for. So I can play both sides of this because I'm appropriately positioned. Some of you guys might not be. You might be thinking, oh, he said dump, so I better sell everything now. It keeps going up. Oh, I better FOMO back in. He was wrong. Then dump. Oh, he was right, but now I've lost everything. Please make sure that whatever you plan to do is your own plan. I'm not your financial advisor. It's absolutely not what I'm here to do. I'm just telling you what I think is a likely possibility. It doesn't mean it's the only possibility. There is no such thing as a guarantee on these charts, or any charts, or anything in the world for that matter. But we are looking at bearish divergence on daily and 4 hourly and hourly. So with that means that there is a possibility of a drop, and because it's an emotionally driven market, and because almost all altcoins are offering the same setup, which is hourly, 4 hourly, daily bearish divergence, then the market will dump as one, and it will look pretty brutal if it happens. We were doing measured moves last night on a lot of these altcoins, and they were generally between 25 and 40% pullbacks, and then those bounces from there would be significant. We're talking 50 to 100% bounce targets going on to new local highs. So rather than running through every single thing, this is what we do on the Patreon, so there is value to it. If you want to join, you can have a look at that twice a week. That's how we do it, and that's the point of it. But I'm just telling you now, as a broad overview, that's the vibe we were getting last night, is that, yeah, if this dump were to happen across the board for the market, it would look pretty significant. 20, 30, 40% move. Some of them even measured as much as 70% move in the form of this an emotionally driven dump. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's no big deal. It's just, when you have a chart, or many charts, dozens of charts that all present the same way, you have to try and focus on what the chart says. Now there is another part to having an emotionally driven market, which is that as Bitcoin has shown us, it can just keep going up, and that is the truth. It can just keep going up. You don't necessarily need to expect the dump if the emotions are still one of buy. But that sort of thing does lead to the idea that actually that when it does finally dump, it will be a big one, because people are complacent, and this is something that I am absolutely never am complacent. So, just to ruin the show for you all, I am expecting a larger pullback, and I am expecting that to get picked up. I mean, here's Ethereum to start with, 1, I suppose 2, a third drive, and we'll be looking for a dump on this one. This dump could take us down all the way down to 3,123 at the moment, basically. And that would be a big move, and this is Ethereum, and Ethereum is actually the pillar of strength for the most part. That measures at 20%, maybe even 23%, and that's Ethereum. So think about other altcoins out there. 20 to 23% for Ethereum would most likely be a 30 to 40% for other altcoins. Anyway, like I said, I'm not here to ruin the weekend. I'm just trying to put it out to you here that this is a possibility. It's a relatively strong possibility given enough time, given maybe a week or so. But it could happen at any point. But because the weekend closed relatively bearish, I mean, for the Dixie, which, I mean, it is bearish despite that little tick up. When you look at the weekly, it's a bearish week. We might end up having a green weekend, or at least a green Saturday. As we move into Sunday, it might be different. And it's like playing a game of Jenga. The higher the building blocks get stacked, the more unstable the structure. And there is a point where it does fall down, and that is the way that this is going to go at some point for crypto. Whether it happens this weekend or next week, I couldn't really tell you, but there is a very strong possibility that it's going to happen relatively soon, and it's nothing more than a buy the dip opportunity for a significant bounce and a rip, similar to this one. Bounce all the way back up. That's what we'll be looking for. But are you going to wait for a bounce? It might not happen. Are you going to play both sides? You're going to continue to ride this up? That's cool, but do you have money or funds to buy the dip if it were to happen as well? That's cool too. So anyway, I'm just going to put it to you there that it's not, it's not that this isn't a good looking chart. It is, but with the emotionally driven markets comes serious ups and serious downs, because it's less about trading and more about emotions, and we know what emotions can be like, especially in Captain Noobmaster's house. At the moment, he's probably loving it. Mom, can I borrow another $15 so I can put it into the sheep coin? Course you can, son. Here you go. Thanks, Mum. And then later on that day, Mum, I've made more money, Mum. Are you proud? I am proud. Next week, I'm so proud of you, son. What's the matter? Don't ask, because the emotionally driven market is what we're looking at, and when the selling comes in, it will be a panic sell. But for you and me, hopefully by understanding what this chart is representing, which is a slowing down of momentum to the upside, often leads into a quick sharp drop to the downside. And then for the people who have planned and waited for that, we pick that up and buy it and sell it to a new local high, or at least a V-shaped recovery, or if nothing else, a serious bounce. So there's opportunity in this dump if it were to happen. I think it's going to happen. We're talking Bitcoin and Ethereum between 13 to 20%. We're talking altcoins, I suppose, between 15, 30, maybe 40%. That's what we're looking at. Is it going to happen now? Is it going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen next week? It's not for me to say, but it looks like it wants to happen, is all I'm saying to you. That it looks like it wants to happen. Right, I'll leave with you there. Don't get too upset. In fact, just be on your toes for if it does happen. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure that plan is your own and not adopted from somebody else. Because if it's somebody else's plan and then it doesn't go well for you, you'll have somebody to blame, and that's not appropriate. It's your money, your decision, your choice. You do what you want, what you think's best for you. Everybody's individual, so nobody can really relate to your scenario. I have told you mine. It's going to be different to yours. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a nice weekend. Take it easy.